Hello, does this work? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is visible.
we can
Okay,
see
thank
you.
you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Let me just straight jump to the use case that we had discussed. I'll explain it through a hypothetical platform. I'll be calling it security from here on. And before I talk about it, let me give you a brief overview about the MSMEs in India, that is the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So the Indian MSME sector is the backbone of the national economic structure. It employs some 120 million people and contributes around 45% of India's exports. However, the sector has always been plagued by delayed payments and bad debts on its sales receivables. Now, just the government agencies and the large corporates owe an estimated 5 lakh crores to the MSME sector, as was revealed by Mr. Nitin Gadkari. And this causes higher working capital requirements for the sector, as well as a looming threat of further bad debts as well as bankruptcies. So why does this problem arise? The MSMEs are weak, small, and unorganized, and they have limited bargaining power with the banks as well as their customers. This forces them to grant long credit cycles of up to 90 to 120 days, which face even subsequent delays. This forces them to in a survey by Economic Times, 27% of the MSMEs received half of their receivables after 90 days of the sale. Moreover, 60% of the MSMEs write off up to 5% of their receivables. Now, due to this, the only option available for the MSMEs is to avail credit to finance their working capital needs, and credit growth has, because of this, increased significantly. However, this is coming mostly from the informal sector. Some 84% of the finance that they're getting is from the informal sector. As per IFC, 66% of the MSMEs are not even served by the financial institutions. So pending payments to them have risen, and the cost of funds for them is still very high, around 2 to 5% per month, because of the increased risk of default for them. Now, this problem has been there for quite some time now, and the government has taken cognizance of it and arrived at two solutions mainly. So, the one on your right, I'll talk about that first, which is the trade receivables discounting system. It is an electronic platform for facilitating the financing or discounting of the receivables through multiple financiers at competitive rates. However, the main issues with TREDS is that it is restricted for financing sales by MSMEs to only large corporates, and the volumes are still quite low. This segment is a small segment of the overall market and is already well served by the existing banks. It does not finance sales by corporates to corporates or MSMEs to MSMEs. The other option is the MSME Samadhan, which is essentially a redressal system wherein the MSME has a right to easily recover their delayed payments. But it is fairly long process, and it does not reduce frequency of delayed payments for the MSMEs. Since the launch of the portal, only 7% of the total applications have been disposed of. Out of the 13,000 crore of application amount, applications worth rupees 6,300 crore are pending to even be viewed by the council. Now, to complement both these solutions, we have come up with the Security Web Aggregator platform, which helps insurance companies to provide trade credit insurance to sellers. Buyers give consent to share their financial data on their AA platform to the seller's insurance provider, which will then charge a nominal premium from the seller. If the payment is not made at maturity, insurance company will pay the seller. The objective is to secure the seller's transactions in a hassle-free, paperless manner and provide him options like access to various insurance providers, authority to extend their deadlines, etc. For the buyer, it should translate to no interest burden, whether implicit or explicit, and increased buyer switchability with the additional layer of security of their data. Now, let me explain the process in detail. So as I said, most of the MSMEs sell on credit to their buyers despite the high capital costs in order to remain competitive. And any kind of delays and defaults on these unsecured transactions can severely affect the working capital availability for these sellers. We want to change this with SecureDeal, which is a platform that leverages the account aggregator network for automated transaction-based trade credit insurance. So let me show how this works. The customer places his order with a SecureDeal-enabled supplier. He agrees to a credit insurance on the transaction and provides his account aggregator ID along with the order. Next, the seller logs into the SecureDeal portal, uploads the invoice, enters credit period and buyer's account aggregator details. He chooses an insurer of his choice who sends a one-time data consent request to the buyer's AA platform for the relevant FIPs. On acceptance, the buyer's data from the FIPs gets transferred to the insurer. It gets auto-analyzed by the insurer using the prefixed algorithms to generate the insurance premium, limit, and other terms which would be based on the buyer's credibility. The seller may agree to the terms or tries the same process with the other insurers. When agreed, the buyer receives a long-term data sharing request from that insurer. Also, he receives the insurer terms and conditions with an OTP, which is to be shared with the seller for the acceptance of the insurance agreement. When the buyer accepts the request and the terms and conditions, the insurer is given the right to collect the invoice after the maturity. Also, SecureDeal collects the premium on insurer's behalf from the seller at this stage.
Looks like we might have lost Aditya there. Everybody else is still here, right? Could you spam some emojis so we could? Okay, great. So it looks like we lost Aditya, unfortunately. Onkar and Aditya's teammates, do one of you want to come on stage to just by raising your hand? I can then bring you on stage so we can just complete the presentation for SecureDeal, at least conceptually, even if we can't do the slides. So, Onkar or Anansh, do you want to raise your hand? And then it's on the right hand side, there's a button that says raise hand. So, once you raise hand, I can bring you on stage to complete the presentation. Okay, so it looks like maybe they're having some issues, or actually, Onkar has raised his hand now, so I'm going to bring him on stage. Hey, Onkar.
Hello, sir.
Hey, do you also have the slides with you?
I have to check. Just
Okay, so what? So, let me see as well. Sorry, everybody, for this difficulty happened. The COVID, I guess. I have the slides over here, so if you'd like, I can share the slides.
yes, sir. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
yes,
from the fifth slide.
fifth slide.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So the main idea is how this whole idea of security will be executed. It will be executed through three stages. The first one is the platform development, in which we have to register as a web aggregator, and then there is financing and technical development. The second is partner onboarding, where we have to basically onboard the various state credit insurers and provide them connectivity to our AA platform. And the final and the most important stage is the rollout stage, where we have to sell our platform to the sellers and create buzz and market our product. So the market strategy that we follow is a basically three-tier market strategy. The first one is through the chartered accountants. The chartered accountants have a lot of data about MSMEs and they are consistent with filing GST returns for the MSMEs. So we like to promote our platform through the network of chartered accountants where the one-time benefits will be provided to promote our application. Then we will tie ups with the startup like Urans and Power to SMEs, which are the startups in the MSME sectors, and these will help to boost growth in the initial years. The final is the reference system strategy, in which we will encourage the word of mouth, where basically the old users, if they spread, they will get a benefit, and new users will also get some benefit. Finally, coming on to the revenue model, how will we earn the revenue? The first one is through the listing fee. There will be the one-time annual listing fee of around 20,000 to 50,000, which the insurance company has to pay to us. And then there will be the lead generation fee, which will be charged again from the insurance company. It will be around 10 to 15% of the insurance premium for every policy. So lead generation fee will be the major source of revenue for our company. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Super. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was great. Are you back?
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks a lot, Onkar. I'm gonna get you on. So, guys, let's have a round of applause, please, for Team Nivesh, which is Aditya, Onkar, and Anansh. They did a great job, really innovative, interesting idea around trade credit insurance. They will be around, so if you wish to interact with them after this session, you can go find them on one of the social lounge tables. Another thing I'd like to bring up here is that both these teams, they've worked really hard on their ideas, they fleshed them out, and the ideas are definitely very feasible, and they might make for excellent projects for this hackathon. So if you would like to partner up with them, please do so. They would be keen to participate and partner with the team to actually build this out. So I think that could be very cool. So they are on the Slack, so find them on Slack and connect with them, and maybe you guys can help them bring this incredible idea to life. So thank you very much, Team Nivesh. Thank you, Aditya, Onkar, Ananch. Now, please, Neha, could you start your presentation? So introducing Neha Kesarkar and her teammate Abhinav Shirsagar. So they're from KJ Sumaya College of Engineering, and their idea, which actually won this competition, the previous idea was the runner-up. They're both very good, but Neha's idea is Team Phoenix, and she will be presenting it right now.
Yeah. Good evening, respected dignitaries and the enthusiastic participants of hackathon. So we are Team Phoenix from Uday Case Study Competition. So our use case is about farmers credit. So what actually are we dealing in this use case? So according to the Reserve Bank of India's 2019 report, the farmers credit market is underserved, and mostly it is due to the small and marginal farmers. So we, with the help of this use case, are aiming to bridge this gap between the farmers and formal lending institutions via account aggregator platform. So who are the farmers we are actually catering to? So out of the total farmers, 86.2%, that is approximately 126 million farmers, belong to marginal and small farmers category, and only 40% of them avail institutional credit loans. So what are the factors constraining them from availing the institutional credit? The factors that are the high transactional costs, structural deficiencies in the rural credit delivery system, issues relating to credit worthiness, also as they have limited assets to underwrite as collaterals, and also the amount which they take for the take up for the credit is low. So that is the low volume of loans. So what are we looking up to? Like what are we doing additional to the account aggregator framework? already the bank and the insurance companies are already there as FIPs. However, we are mentioning few of them would help the farmers in availing the loan. So the first is the Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, that is the DILRMP. As the farmer's main asset is its land, so DILRMP we would get information about the land owned by the farmer, and it would also reduce the instances of multiple financing on same piece of land. So apart from the land, there is also the quality of the land. So this we would get the information from the our next FIP, that is the soil health card. So through this we would get the quality of the soil, the inputs required to increase its productivity. So the lenders would able to gauge their payback capability through the SHC. Then next comes the KCC, that is the Kisan Credit Card Scheme. So through this, the lenders would get access to the information about the previous loans availed by the farmers, so that they could take an informed decision. Then the next comes the PMFBY, that is the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which involves 61% of small and 18% marginal farmers. And through this PMFBY scheme, the farmers avail crop insurance, and the lenders would get information about the sum insured and the weather-based crop insurance information through the PMFBY. And our next FIP, that is the smart risk, would help us to get the claims through a PMFBY easily disbursed through the digitally backed data through machine learning and AI mechanism, which would help the lenders to estimate the yield of the crop, which can be done in a short period of time and efficiently during the short harvest season. As India is the largest producer of the milk, the farmers which have the supplementary income coming from the dairy sector, our next FIP, that is the National Dairy Development Board (NDDB), would help us giving the information about the income coming from the dairy sector for these farmers regarding their milk billing systems. And next is the ENAM portal, that is the Electronic National Agricultural Market, through which the lenders would get information about the farmers' previous sales, so that they could gauge the income of the farmers for their previous harvest seasons. So now, as I've mentioned the basic concept, so how we would be implementing this product. So as a tree grows from a small seed, which has many uh, um, many intermediate stages. Likewise, our product also has intermediate stages like the short term, mid term, and long term, which are basically due to the availability of the information and the consent required. As some of the FIPs are already onboarded into the AI platform, that is the bank deposits, bonds, and insurances, they would take a limited like less time to get onboarded into a use case. However, there's some institutions, it may be uh, government or private institutions, where the data is available but the consent it is needed to be taken. So that includes bank loans, the smart risk app, KCC, PMFBY, National Dairy Development Board. However, there are some things which, like the Digital India Land Records Program that I have mentioned, only like there are only 83% of digitization is been done, and only 23% is surveyed. So the data is not available yet. And in some of the cases, like soil health card and e-Pashu Card, the data is available, but it is not in the format which would be like in acquaintance with the platform we are using. So we need to so that would take a longer time, that we have approximated to be as 4 years. So this use case would not only benefit the farmers but also the lenders. So the farmers, how would they be benefited? Like there would be better access to financial services to them, and that too at the reduced risk. Also, there would be better predictability due to the technological interventions that we have mentioned earlier. Also, they would get information about the various interest banks that have been offering varied interest rates on the Kisan Credit Card portal. Also, this all would ensure a financial security to the farmers. And then comes the lenders. What would the lenders get? So, as we have incorporating the various FIPs, the lenders would get an alternate data points to make informed decision. Also, there would be reduced cost of operations. And within one click, the lenders would be able to get information about the credit and crop risk assessment, the variable pricing for insurances, also the previous loans availed by the farmers, the productivity of the land of the farmers, and also the payback ability from the previous records of the income through various FIPs. So, what would be the interventions required from the various stakeholders? As I've mentioned, that there are various government uh, agencies involved. Through them, we would require the data. So that includes the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, and lastly, the Ministry of Rural Development. Also, the technological dependency mainly would be through the smartest product of the crop and agri-tech organization, which incorporates the machine learning and AI platform to assess the land, the productivity of the land, and also weather forecast, which helps the lenders as well as the farmers to take accurate decisions. Then comes the information dependency. I've mentioned that the data is not in the format which is easily available to you. So there is a need to bring it to that format. So I think that overall, if these measures are taken and these interventions, the consent of these interventions stakeholders are taken, I think it would lead to financial inclusion of the farmers. Thank you. This thank you is not only from us but from the farmer, who would be delighted to avail easily the loan and would lead to a prosperous farmer as well as the prosperous country. Thank you.
That was excellent. Thank you very much, Neha, and thank you to Abhinav as well, your partner. Thank you, Team Nivesh. Thank you, Team Phoenix. Just to reiterate, guys, both of these teams are looking to actually build out these ideas into projects, so that could make for a great hackathon idea. Do interact with them in the social lounge after the session, or find them in the Slack, and maybe you guys can help bring it to life. So that's the final session for today. Thank you so much. We will keep this social lounge open, so this will be open until later tonight. Tomorrow we'll be back here. There's a separate link for tomorrow, so the same link will not work. You can always find the link either at the Sahamati official blog, or you can find the link in the Hack Bible, or you can find the link so there's also a Gmail calendar as part of the Hack Bible, so you can add that calendar to your Gmail and just have all of the updates and reminders and links and stuff available for you. So we'll see you guys here tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Perfios' session on the API sandbox. After that, we have Yodlee, FinView, One Money, and NADL. And then to close it off at 7 p.m., we have a session with Lars Markul of the Open Bank project. He'll be talking about successful use cases of account aggregators in the EU and different parts of the world. So, guys, I would say that, please read all the resources in the Hack Bible. In particular, there's a technical specifications document which will help you. It goes through all the API flows in detail. That will give you a really good basis for understanding the sandboxes tomorrow. So please go through the resources in the Hack Bible, particularly the technical specs document. You'll have lots of time to build out your use cases and stuff like that. So just go through the resources tonight. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you here tomorrow at 2 p.m.